Well, hello, and welcome back. Oh, got to reposition my camera because we just had the meetups and all that. Let's see. So I'm AJ O'Neill, and this it's a little too close, a little too close for comfort. I don't think you want to see my face that well. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me know if I'm wrong. Okay, there we go. A little bit of headroom there, max headroom. So we're going to continue on with the whatchamajig. That's my new favorite word. I'm going to have to cut that out of my vocabulary. It's becoming terrible. We're going to continue on with the consolidating of the flows for the authentication, which is basically I built something around express routes and I need to rebuild it around the pieces that aren't related to the request object, essentially, so that I can use it in other places as well. So we're going to continue on with that, and then let's see. Well, my who to follow for the day is JavaScript Jabber. I've already mentioned that a couple times. It's in the doobly doo. And what else? Just had the Utah Node.js meetup. So if you're interested in that, you can check out Utah Node.js on YouTube. We got four or five videos up. Really just something, we had some technical difficulties. So there's two videos that make the whole part. And they're labeled part 1 and part 2. And then there was a couple of just kind of junk, getting things set up and whatever. But pretty soon I'm going to have that M1 Max, and then I'll have 2 video encoders, and I'll have ports and a MagSafe charger, so I won't have problems where the charger turns on and off, disables the USB port that's plugged in USB-C. Instead, it's going to be all smooth sailing. Okay, so with that out of the way, oh, and hello to those of you that are joining in. If you don't know, I'm AJ. I'd love to know who you are, what you're up to. But I'm just going to jump in now and continue along with where I was at before, which is basically let's see. I'm trying to find a way to pull out some of this dependency. It was actually just making the code better in general, but pull out not really dependency per se, but some of this logic, pulling out some of the logic into its own place so that the routes are a little bit more separate from the logic that's handling. Essentially, let me go back up here to where there was the gen function. So we're generating basically random. Let's see here, rand. There we go. This comment explains this screen explains it pretty well. So we're generating a code, a receipt, and an ID, and so the code is the secret. The receipt goes back to the whoever requested it, and the ID is an identifier that goes basically allows tracking of attempts. So you've got a code. If you enter the wrong code in so many times, then you're locked out for a little bit. The ID assists with that, and then this is the information that goes in there, or that gets stored in a JSON column in a database, just so that we can say, okay, send out this secret to via email. If they click the link, or if they in the email they see the code and they type in the code, then they're verified. So it's a challenge response process. That's what it is. So I'm just trying to separate this out. Nice shine new Mac. What? That nice shine new Mac. I don't understand. I don't have the M1 Max yet, but I will, and then I'll have 2 video encoders, and that's what I got it for. That's the main thing, and maybe I don't need it. Maybe I need to try out a couple more things and see if something else is my problem. But I've got a 14-day window in which to try it out and see if it's everything I hoped and dreamed it would be. All right, so we got order verification. We got the result here. So this should be, oh yeah, order. That's making an order. So the check status here, this is the next thing I need to look at. And I could probably wrap up, what have we got here? Ordered at creation. What's creation all about? Value of expiration. Expiration. So what I should do then is I want to get and I want to run challenge dot check. I don't know if that's what I should call it, but I'm going to call it that for now. Okay, parse duration. It seems that that should just be the cached milliseconds. Should be good enough for that. Yeah, I can't. I also, somebody was having one of the companies I work for was having a sale, and so I got a 2015 for a ridiculous price. Let me see. Because they just gave them off to their employees, and I'm a contractor, but I still had access to the employee sale website, so I said, hey, why not? Plus, nobody else was buying them, so. The 2015, I'm so surprised, was not very popular. I guess maybe because people think that the newer ones are better when they're actually quite worse. They don't have a keyboard. They don't have USB ports. They're not faster until you get to the M1, or they're marginally faster, just like, yeah, anyway. But I've got that right here. I still got to get it set up and figure out what I'm going to do with it. I was thinking just keep it as a backup computer because, sometimes you need a backup computer. But the price was too good, and I didn't even blink at it. I just got it. I waited to make sure that the, true employees got a chance to get it, and then I got it because they didn't. Anyway, well, I don't know if that's why I waited. I waited because I had to get on the computer that had access to the VPN. But I felt satisfied that it was available after everybody else had made their bids for the day. Anyway, so it looks, this bit right here, I think this little bit can just get moved out, and that will be fine. But what is the issue here? So we've got the is fresh. And then, so this expiration, I don't think we need that because I'm pretty sure that I now save the expiration in the meta. Expires at, I think that's what I did. So I think we can get rid of this. Let me just go double check on that. Expires at, yeah. So, okay, so that's now copied over, so I don't need to calculate that here, so that reduces some dependency. And then let's see, if not meta or is not fresh, I think that's appropriate right there. I would prefer that to be true falsy here and then throw there. But then that is fresh. We kind of need to get rid of the underscore on it. Oh, wait. Challenger. So challenger dot is fresh. This one, I do want that to stay there for right now. Please do a stream for setting up the Mac from scratch for dev. So I actually was thinking about this. I was thinking about this very much, about how I would do it, because there's certain things that I have to get on there. So one thing that I've already changed, I don't remember what it was. Oh yeah, I do, because I sent a screenshot to somebody, I think. Oh, the screenshot's on the desktop. Yeah, but I think that would be a good one. Yeah. But there's so many things that you have to get it set up in order to do setting it up. So what should I do? Should I point the camera at it and do it that way, where I set the tripod up behind me and then just da-da-da-da-da? Or I don't know. I don't know. Give me some thoughts on how I might go about doing that, because if I have to get it to the point where I can stream on it, there's so many things that will annoy me that I don't, and that I have to log into, and so yeah, give me some thoughts on what you think might be the best way to go about that, because I think that would be cool. Thanks for the suggestion. Create routes. Okay. And I do need to have some better tests for this thing as well. Is fresh. Challenger dot is fresh. We should only see two instances. Good, that's right. And the reason that I was doing it this way, which I guess it makes sense. I'm trying. I'm trying not to. Flat versus encapsulated. It's a dangerous game. You know what? One as little state as we can manage in these things. But then it gets, you know, there's complex and there's complicated, and you gotta ride that line. Okay, what I'm doing right now is I'm just scrolling through to see. Here we are, where these error messages are going to appear. That's what I was looking for. So what do we actually have here? All right, so I want to challenge.attempt. And what is that going to mean? So what are we going to do? We're going to attempt ID, and this is going to have to be an async await type of deal, it looks like. Maybe. I'm not sure how this should be. It feels like moving this out would be wrong because this is pretty server specific. Okay, but what else will we do? Code rec res. Is that what this would be? Okay. Okay. Attempt counter. I think I'm going to move it all in, and then I might move some back out. That might be how I handle this. So let's say let meta equals. So I'm going to have to go create a challenge.attempt. And again, I think this is the wrong abstraction, but I think it's Geffen. Good enough for now. And the reason I say this is the wrong abstraction is because something about this sleep doesn't feel right to me. Because the attempts should kind of sort of serialize, I think. But it almost seems that this count attempt ought to encapsulate these two bits. So I'm going to move that around. Count attempt. It's kind of mutexy. But then, there's more than one way that this could get deleted. All right. So let's see, delete. What do we want to delete here as well? There's too many places. Yeah, this kind of does need. I see what's going on here. So I think this already has bugs in it, and they need fixing. And the way that I'm going to fix it is we're going to say, okay, we're going to catch here, and we're going to say that if there's an error, we're going to delete the mutex-ish thing, and we're going to rethrow the error. Well, actually, we're just going to return the error. Well, no, we could rethrow it, right? Oh, yeah, I see. That's what it was doing. I think this is maybe more clear to the reader. So we're gonna, yeah. Okay, so this now I'm gonna go back on it. I think that the way that I just had it actually is a bit simpler. So yeah. So this is always delete the attempt. And so then we don't need to delete the attempts here because we're doing the mutexiness on the other side. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, handles the mutexy bits of the attempt counter / cool offer. Hey, welcome to the stream. I'm AJ. Who are you? Where are you from? What do you do? What brings you here today? Alrighty. Mutexy bits. Okay, yeah, let me explain that. Thanks for asking. So in languages that handle concurrency with multiple threads, you have what's called mutexes, which make it so that, say each thread has a copy of a can of Mountain Dew, and one thread decides to place, gets the function call to place the can of Mountain Dew on this tile in space. And then simultaneously, another function in it running in a different thread also gets the parameter to place the can of Mountain Dew in this point in space. In the real world, you'd have an error in that the things exist in physical space. They can't go into each other. But in the computer, you can just put the two cans in the same space, and then you end up with maybe one can's half full and the other can's half empty. One's open, one's closed, whatever. And you end up with corrupt memory, where you have an imperfect representation of either can, and now one of them's gone. And because they're in the same space. Maybe you end up with the representation of a can that has the label on both sides or whatever, right? So a mutex gives you the quality of the real world, where if you go to put the can there, it has to stop and has to wait for the other can to be removed and then goes down. So the mutex is just saying, that something is occupying this space. And so the mutexy bit is that I'm saying an attempt for this ID is in progress. Attempts ID equals true. And then down here, I say delete attempts ID. And I use that up here to say if there's already an attempt in progress, then sleep, and throw the enhance your calm message. And I think that's the only place that I use it, but this is what I consider to be a mutexy bit, because it behaves in similar fashion to a mutex, but in JavaScript, you're just worried about asynchronous code. You're not actually worried about real mutexes. But it's, it's similar. It's spiritually similar to the way that a mutex behaves. Also, this this cooldown I should specify as part of the config. It should be all the way up here. And I'm going to move this into another file. So cooldown equals, and I don't know if I want that to be cooldown time. Cooldown time maybe? Cooldown time. Cooldown MS. Yeah. Okay. Now, oh, did all of my errors go away? Interesting. So what I want to see next is if I can pull out this challenge into another file. So I'm going to create libchallenge.js. We're going to use strict, of course. So here's one of my problems, Thilarn. I can't keep a schedule to save my life. I can't. I did a really good job for about 2 months. I kept to a schedule. And it was a good improvement to my life. But it was just so stressful, I can't realistically handle it. It's too much for me. It feels completely unnatural and just, it's hard. So I've said this before, I am of the ADHD persuasion, and I'm coming to believe that that is a real thing, that I am actually different from other people in some of my ways of being. And so I have to do things either ahead of time, pre-recorded, or I have to do things spontaneously. I can't do things on a schedule. I don't think it's possible for me. Don't think it's in the cards. And so the idea of this setting up my MacBook, it seems the kind of thing that I should broadcast and tell people, hey, I'm going to do my MacBook setup on such and such a day. I don't think I could do it to save my life because I'm going to end up doing it whenever. I guess I should just copy all of these things. Because I'm going over and I'm like, oh yeah, I need this one. Oh, I need this one. Yeah, I think I just need all of them. Maybe I should just do module.exports create here because I don't know what else to call this and I don't know why I would call it anything else. And let's see here, is fresh. Do I need this for anything else? Oh, and I copied all that over, so I am safe to delete this whole entire thing now. And I kind of just want to put in here challenge.js. Oh, whoops, that's not what I want to do. Right here, that's what I want to do. .create. Indeed. Do it the way that feels natural to me. I've spent a lot of my life. Well, so here's the thing. Now, I will wax philosophical. There are parts of our natures that are good for us to play to our strengths. It is not good for us to play to our weaknesses. And so there's this balance between accepting who you are and truly being your best self and living your best life. But there are certain things that are not realistic. So for me, coming to the belief that that ADHD is an accurate descriptor of a different way of the brain working opens and closes some doors. I don't want to use it as an excuse, but at the same time, it also can be helpful in saying, here's what's realistic and what's not realistic. Where am I at? Challenge. Yeah, let's go into challenge. And so for some people, what feels natural to them is to murder children. True story. We don't want them to do what feels natural to them. So that is a tough thing that I struggle with. Not the desire to murder children. I have no desire to do that. But just finding what is the happy balance between what is you and what is, what's your best self, what's acceptable, et cetera, et cetera. Because if I only did what's natural to me, then I probably wouldn't have a very successful life. I have to stretch outside of that in some way, shape, or form. This is not the right way to do this. But then again, I don't know. All strengths are weaknesses. All acts of creation are acts of destruction. There is no free lunch. All coins have the two sides. Let's see. I don't think I need the hashify function here. I have the codes match function here. That's going to move. So a lot of this stuff is just going to move. Let's see. And that's okay that it moves. This is fresh is going to move. Yeah. Okay, well this is good. Things are moving in a relatively positive direction. All things considered. Okay. So at some point I'm just going to have to get rid of some of this. So, okay, so that's happy now. Let's see if this one's still happy. This one's still happy. And then I think, let's see, should I do routes equals? Let's see. That would be psycho. I'm assuming you're referring to people who, to them, it feels natural to kill children. Well, it would be psycho. But to them, it's natural. It's not like somebody wakes up and says, you know what, I want to be evil. I'm going to get my brain to fire neurons that give me a dopamine release when I cause harm to other people. You know? I think that you can develop that pathway. I think it, but to some degree, I think you have to have a proclivity for it. And I think so. I think the best examples of this are, I believe it's called cognitive behavioral therapy. There is a book which I will go pull up real quick. Very fascinating. The Mind and the Brain is what it's called, and it really just dives deep into studies as well as some philosophy. Let me see if I can just grab this. The Mind and the Brain. I'm going to put you a link here. Neuroplasticity and the power of mental force. So in learning about the way your brain works, you can change the way your brain works. It's very meta. But in having the thought process of, I want to do X, doing X is not going to benefit my life. Or doing X, or the desire to do X is the result of a defect, such as, say, OCD, for example. You can create different pathways. I don't know, so if a person, this is the question, if a person can overcome OCD through cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, I think that's easier to say, actually. Could a person with ADHD overcome that? That's the question. I'm going to Google that real quick. Completely unrelated, but ADHD CBT. I want to see what happens. Yeah, well, you might really enjoy The Mind and the Brain. It's pretty long, but I really enjoyed it. And thankfully, unthankfully, it has there were studies done when certain requirements of ethics were not in place. And so there are things that we know from past studies on animals that we could not know now because they wouldn't be allowed in most countries. But I think that depending on what your beliefs are about animals and their souls and all that, that what we learned was probably worth the cost. Let's see. It's, ethics is a very strange thing. But, that opens a whole can of worms. Okay, so we did have local hosts here. Do we need local hosts in the other one as well? No, we don't. We don't need local hosts in this one, so let's get rid of it. If we don't need it, get rid of it. All right, parse duration we do need here. And R&D, I know. Wait, parse duration is not here? What? No, that can't be right. Okay, parse duration is here, not here. Okay, do we need R&D here? Rand? No? Do we need errors here? Of course we do. Okay, good. I was just checking to see if the linter's still working. Okay. And then I wonder what we could get rid of here. Can't get rid of really any of those things. Oh, okay, and I was thinking to do this. Routes dot order verification equals. Yeah, there we go. Routes dot check status equals. Routes dot finalize verification equals. Routes dot exchange challenge token equals. Verification check status. Did we have finalize? Okay, that one's done. Exchange. Did we do exchange? Huh, that's weird. My internal count was way off on that. Okay, we've done exchange. And then challenge. it doesn't make sense to return because that was passed in. So let's say, whoops, challenge, yeah, so all of this stuff we get rid of, and then we just return routes. Gosh, type linting is so awesome. I really need to create that's one of the projects that's on my list, is create my type linter init so that I use it more often in more projects. Talking about unrelated stuff, just when you get a chance, I'd like to see how Apple can show order status without having to log into the Apple website. Since you worked on user logins, UUID, and cookie stuff, I'm thinking you might have an idea of the mechanics. You know, I'm not really clear on what the question is because I'd have to see a screenshot of what you're talking about. But if you made an order, hold on, I'm going to turn the heat up a little bit here, hoping that doesn't trip the breaker. Oh, I should probably just turn the heat up this way. There we go. Of course, it's going to take several minutes before it heats up. Do I want to turn on the other heater? Not until this one turns off. Because if I turn them both on, then it trips the breaker. It's getting a little chilly. Okay, so if you make an order, it can store all the order stuff in cookies. And then it doesn't matter, you know, whether it's a UUID or what kind of ID it is. There's some sort of ID in the cookie. So generally a credit card is a good enough form of authentication to go off of, even if a person doesn't create an account. So also, oftentimes when sites say you're not logged in, there's more than one system of login in place. So you have a login token or a login cookie or a login credential, but it may either be scoped as an access token or an access cookie, or it may be that it's the same thing, but let's say after 20 minutes, I don't show you as logged in if you haven't had activity to update the time value in the cookie, for example. But after 6 hours, it's still there. And so there's certain information that's considered to be not sensitive that it will continue to allow you to have access to. Whereas there's other information, such as, you might notice this if you ever try to update your password. If you log in and then try to update your password, you might be able to update it right then. But other times, if you are logged in for a long time and you try to update your password, it might ask you to enter in your password. So there's a staleness factor to a session. Okay, yeah, make a quick vid. Okay. Do we need the issuer? I guess we do. Oh, where would max age be coming from? Do we need this? I suppose we do, but I'm not sure if we do. I think we do want to be able to overwrite that, but I don't know if it matters here. Okay. I need a better word than attempt here, but I'm not sure what it should be. Oh, and there's two different ways to get this. So there's the check by ID, and then there's the actual exchange. Let's Let's see. It kind of seems as though this whole bit could be encapsulated in an exchange, because what are we going to do? Yeah, this whole bit seems that we just want to do the exchange and then let meta equals await exchange. I think that might work. But it would need access to rec, it looks like. Yeah. I think that's going to be okay. So let me do this. Challenge.exchange equals async function ID rec. And then where is rec? In the comments. Come on. There we go. This is what I want. This one. Might have to grab. I'm kind of hesitant to grab a third Mountain Dew for the day. That's be a new record for me. Well, maybe not. Kind of, sort of, in a way. It's approaching unhealthy territory, I think. Or maybe healthy territory, who knows? Okay, and I need, this needs to do at returns, and then what it really needs to be is of type challenge, I guess lowercase. And I need to define what that is. I think this is essentially it right here. But it could have some extra properties on it. So this is going to be, whoops, at returns challenge. And then I'm just going to need to type def this up here probably. So at type def challenge at, and then all these things. Is it param or property? I forget how this is done. Property, maybe? And then we just string ID, string recept, string type value, and then of course I should just wrap all of these as though they're optional. Okay, and then this is going to be a number for attempts. So rather, it depends. It depends. But oftentimes I would rather define all of the possible properties. And then I guess really this is a date. It's a date string. I'm going to go string. I want the type hinting a little bit, but not too much, you know? So I just make all the properties optional, so that way it can be there, but then it doesn't, get angry if I return a partial of it. That way I can use it for patch and merge and all that stuff. Okay. Let's see what it's happy with or not happy with here. All right. Okay. Promise. Whoops. There we go. All right. It's happy with that one. What is it still upset with? Oh, codes match. Yeah, let's check into that. And then I could probably get rid of HMAC secret almost everywhere. I think I probably should. Well, this one is one that kind of feels kind of sort of like, I don't know, var_c equals module.exports. C.create. But then there's a couple of these things, such as codes match, that I think really do belong elsewhere. Because I want to be able to test it elsewhere. I want to be able to test it without creating. Is that reasonable, though? I don't even know if that's reasonable. But I like this idea, that I'd be able to test it without instantiating anything. It might be a little silly. Oh, we're still missing the hashify? Where's that at? We got the hashify right here. What are we talking about? Oh, I probably need to bring it out. It's one of those things where they got to go all in or all out. Yeah, basically all the stuff that needs the HMAC. I just want to bring those out. Okay. Yeah, it's not happy yet. Why is it not happy? Because it wants hashify here. All right, just checking on the comments again, the chat, that is. Let's see. To see what I could see, but all that I could see was the bottom of the deep blue CCC. Bum 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 bum. All right. And then the thing that's missing about this is yeah, this one's too much. I'm gonna we cannot redo challenge. Yeah, that would need too many parameters. Can't do it. But you know what we could do here? Sleep. Where's sleep? That one we could do. All right, I try, like I said before, I try to make all of the functions monkey patchable for the most part. Even though I don't like monkey patching, I try to make it possible to be able to inspect things and monkey patch them and whatever, just make it easier to debug. This is not my proudest function here. This stuff is, it's ugly. I don't know how else to say it. It really is. Let's see. So I got distracted. So I did that search on ADHD and cognitive behavioral therapy. And I clicked one of the links, and it just makes me shudder. It makes me remember the time that I lived on a schedule for 2 months. It felt really powerful at first, as many changes do, but oh man, just such a drain. I would have died. I would have died, I tell you. Okay, so that I guess this isn't really that long. It's just ugly. So I kind of want to rename everything that's called meta to just the letter C. I think that would make this a little bit easier to reason about, especially in this file here. Meta and C. Let's see what we could do with that. C, 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 C. C, 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 C. Okay, that wasn't so bad. And then there was one place where I think I called it challenge. I probably should just call it C. And then call it C in the other places as well. Maybe I could call it CH instead of C. But the damage is kind of done now. Cha. I don't think C is being used by anything else. Yeah. Okay. And this is another thing where I wanted to destructure this anyway, because I have this get claims and grant tokens and cookie, etc. And I want, again, I prefer, I don't know if I'm going to say this right. I want to say I prefer composition to encapsulation, but I don't know if that's quite the right terminology. But essentially, I like to expose things as much as possible, so the abstraction layers are smaller and smaller. And this is a complex abstraction layer, and that's just I think it is fair to say it is the nature of the beast. Okay, do I say attempt? Maybe check. I don't know if I really like that attempt. I like check better than I like attempt. I think I'm going to change this gen to create, maybe. Exchange makes sense. Really, the check isn't a check. It is a finalize. Finalize with counts. But so it's a finalize, but it needs something else, because it's not just a finalize. It's an attempt finalize, try finalize. But I want to keep it short and succinct and pretty close. Debounce finalize? I don't know. Gosh. You don't want me to get sidetracked. Do you even know me? So I'll admit I am leaning in a little bit to the stereotype, but I do get distracted easily. But thank you. All right, what do I want to name this thing? Sometimes the words are right on the tip of my tongue. It feels that there's a good word for this. Maybe it is attempt. Let's see. Oh, redeem? Is that what I wanted to use? I think I want to redeem the challenge. I think that is a good enough word. I'm going to go with that for now. Okay, so there was another one that I wanted. Was it status? Check status. Okay, so check status does what? Okay, I wanted a check that doesn't redeem, that it counts against if it's wrong, but it doesn't count for if it's right. And I think that should just be check. So we should have this check, and it should be, you should be able to give it an ID and a code, and the code should be optional. So it's going to run the same check here. Yeah, I'm going to call it check. And it's going to go right here. Challenge.check. And then, okay, I guess we do need function ID code. And then if it all works out, I guess we hand back the code. Okay, but I don't actually want to hand back the receipt on this one. I do want to sanitize this. Almost finalize. Sure. All right, why is it upset about this? Oh, because it's got code in there. We don't want code. So what we want to do is if code, then we're going to do this other thing. And then we're going to return C. Okay, so I think I do want this underlying, let's say, it's an attempt. Okay, but let's say I don't want to do the redeem. So I want to do everything else. So we count attempt, but let's not. So if success, I don't want to do the verify. That's the main difference. So we're going to have a verify function that calls count attempt. Oh, whoops. Let's see. And so, so this is going to be my redeem function. Await attempt. I'm going to do let C equals await attempt. All right, this is better. Okay, so now I have a way to check that the function is correct without redeeming it. So it counts against it. Let's see. No, this is not. I know I don't want that to be check. I want this to be, say, underscore check. All right, why does it need res on this? I forget. Or does it not? That needs res because count attempt needs res. And that needs res because why? It looks as though count attempt does not need res. I think we might want it to need res for the sake of tracking the IP address. I think that's why res would go in here. Res for tracking. Okay, to do, use res for tracking IP. Okay. All right. All right, so I actually don't want to throw redeemed. Okay, maybe I do want this though. Where is redeem? Maybe let's see equals await challenge dot get ID. Is that going to work? Do we even have a check? Crap, now I'm getting confused. All right, so this check has, let's see, account attempt. Okay, so we're going to have to just backtrack here a little bit. Well, all right, I'm a little bit confused. I'm throwing myself off. Okay. Let's see, IDC rec and res. IDC rec res. Getting a little bit wide. Oh, okay. So this is good. So how is notify going to get code? That's a good question. let's see about this one. We'll have string ID, we'll have code ID. Whoops. We'll have the response object. Oh, we won't have the challenge object. Okay, that's fine. Okay. And we got ID code C recres. Alrighty. IDC code recres. Probably should swappy do this so it follows the same format as everything else. These functions, their signatures are too wide. They just are. Let's see. If not C. There we go. Bother. There we go. All right, let me check out count attempt. Challenge.get. We could do an await here for ID. Duplicate identifier C. Oh, okay, so this is just if not C. Is that what we're doing? And then count attempts is also checking if not C. So we really don't need it there. This is just fine. Okay, so these two are under control. And what would we say? Increments attempts on failure. Okay. So that's good enough. What would this one be? So this check one, and So instead of count attempt, I'm just count attempt increment on failure. That's what I'm going to call it. Increment on failure. Okay, and what about this underscore check then? What is it going to? So redeem is going to do what? Redeem is going to check. And then if it's successful, okay, increment on failure, expire on success. Redeem on success. Mark verified, redeem. There we go. That makes sense. And so then we need this check here is going to do what differently? Because I think we're just saying we want to try to find the thing. And if there is a code, all right, so if we get there, so check. Seems that, What's up, David? Line 270. Let me go check out line 270. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention there. I'm assuming that line 70 was probably this line, at param challenge C. So what it's saying is this function has a parameter, which is the second parameter, which is C, and it is of type challenge. And at the top, I defined what a challenge type is. All right. So FYI, just to give a little recap of what I've been working on here, I'm just working through as I was working through consolidating these authentication endpoints. Oh gosh, it's already 1. I'm gonna have to go to bed soon because I've got a conference tomorrow that I'm going to. In fact, I should check real quick and see what time it is at. What time it starts? It's probably 9 or so. But anyway, I found that I had encapsulated some of the logic correctly for the use case, but then there was a different use case. And so I'm trying to pull the logic out and make it so that I can use this authentication logic also for the case of sending an email link that's an invite. And so it ended up in being a refactor that's going on for a few hours now. Let's see, 9:30 a.m. is registration. 10 a.m. is opening ceremonies. 10:15, build a home monitoring system with Go. That seems strange. Go channels demystified. Ask me anything with Google. Lunch. Let's see, Go templates. Making data easy in Go. Both of these look good. Call stacks and Giverny. I'm not interested in... well, maybe. Oh, okay. It's a debugging tool. Got it. Building scalable API platform for live streaming. That's actually more interesting to me. Team inclusion. Ugh. And Barfaroni. Yeah, definitely would prefer to go to Go 1.7. I hate politics and tech. It's so tarded. Beauty of Go for building cross-platform graphical applications. That'll be interesting. Fostering developer community. Clint Berry, good. Closing ceremonies. After party, yeah. So we'll have our after party is at 5:25. It's gonna be a great day. Yeah, this is gonna be good. This is gonna be good. There's only one talk that absolutely must be avoided at all costs. Everything else looks pretty compelling. We only got 2 tracks, track A and track B. And yeah, there's only one track B that I'm gonna have to take for sure. Home monitoring system with Go. That sounds interesting. I'm going to go ahead and give you a link. Oh yeah, if you want to tune in, it's $10. I guess I should have been plugging this. Yeah, so Go West, $10 online viewing. So if y'all want to join in with me tomorrow, there's the link. Now let me see. Do you use any project structure with Node apps, or just go with the flow? Tell me more what you mean by project structure. I do have a project structure, but I don't. For example, I like to put things in the main. I like to put the main thing up at the top, say the index.js, or sometimes I give it a name that's more representative of what it is. Depends on how I'm feeling. I like to have a folder called lib. I like to have a folder called tests. I like to have a folder for examples. Sometimes I have a dist folder if there's multiple things that need to go on the say integrated into the operating system. That's pretty rare, but occasionally I do. MVC. Well, yes, I do like the. I do. It depends. As things grow larger, I tend to refactor them more. So, what I'm doing right now, this was really just a package where all of the concerns were handled together. And what I'm doing right now is effectively separating out the controller bits from the router bits, which is what I would call view. For when you're developing an API, your view is your router, and then your model is your database. And so if the database logic is quite complex, then I might have separate model files, but I kind of build out the API and then tease it apart as I go. But I think it's good to have one file. Again, I'm going to reference Creeds of Craftsmanship. So creedsofcraftsmanship.com. And the talk to look for is how I build Go HTTP servers after 8 years or something. I don't remember the exact name. It's something like that. So that's one to look at. I think that's kind of the pattern I try to follow with the APIs, but I don't necessarily start out that way. And then right now, this is mostly all controller logic. And then the model logic is abstracted away as essentially store.set, store.get. So the model logic isn't being handled here. It's up to something somewhere else. Anyway, let's see. So I'm going to try to get that ID. I kind of want finalize is true. So let finalize equals true. And then let's do this. I don't even know if I ought to do it this way. So in this case, that's going to be null. Or let's say undefined. So when the check comes in here, Okay, I'm going to have to start shoving this back down further. Oh man, I don't like it when 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a heck of a lot of parameters to be passing into something. There's just a lot of state here. I don't like it. But I don't know if there's much of another way I'd want to do it. Okay. Wait, should this be allowed? Wait, here's the question. Should this be allowed to say if we're not... If it's the failure case, it carries on. It'll still fail on failure. Okay, no, I'm going to undo this a bit. I don't need that finalize to go all the way through. It is acceptable to me to do this here. Yeah, that's acceptable. Because if it exists and it's verified, then it's successful and we're throwing, hey, it's been redeemed. And if not, then we're going down the path, and if it fails, it still is, you know, increments the decrements, whatever. It still does the thing. You know what I'm saying? All right, challenge check. All right, what's the purpose of this? Do we need to pass increment on failure? Do we really need to pass this down, this rec and res? I don't think we do. I think we can do without it. So let's say that we do without it. Any negative consequences? None thus far. Okay, so let's go back up then. And let's go here. Let's not pass that in. And then that means that we don't have to pass it in here. So we're eliminating some nastiness, some dependency that I don't really want to deal with. And if we did later on, I could just pass IP address. But I think that deserves to be in a different layer, to be honest. Okay. And then really, all I'm looking for there is an IP address. So maybe I should just say ID code IP. Maybe that's what it should be. And then, yeah, well, then there's also the user agent. Yeah, I don't know. I'll leave that one there because I've got a use for it presently. Bum ba dum bum 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 bum. All right, so I don't need to check. Okay. All right, so we're going to do at returns challenge C. Well, we don't need it. Renamed. What do you think about this one? All right, that makes sense. So it does kind of seem Oh, well, yeah, let's do promise there. Thank you, type linter. All right, so we don't need these. All right, so we're gonna check the ID in the code if there's a code. So this is optional. We don't need to put this. It's a code like that. Okay. So if there's a code, then we're going to check it. So in both of these cases, there's a way to fail early. But in both of these cases, let's see. The reason, why are we letting it go all the way down? Because there's the if attempts. So could I just move that up ahead in these two places? And would that make more sense? Because then, do I even need the, yeah, I'd still need the ID. So increment on failure, I think there's not much else to do here. So let's just bring this up one. All right, so if I get to this point, let me just double check here. So I've already looked for the challenge in that case, and I've already looked for the challenge in this case. So by the time I get here, C should not be something that doesn't exist. It very much should exist. And so I don't need to do this check again, because that's not going to change. So really the only reason for that okay, maybe I could move this back down then. All right, so the expectation is that C exists at this point. So ID, we could just basically set CID, and that would be right. All right, it's getting a bit cleaner. It's not quite there. Okay. Wait a minute. Why is my type linting not working here? Shouldn't be telling me that notify is all wrong. Okay. Code. What is going wrong here? Okay. So I think it should be griping at me over this. Because I put at returns code, or at returns challenge. Interesting. All right, now we're getting weird. So this is essentially a tuple, is what this would be considered. But I don't know how you represent a tuple. All right, so what is that gen all about then? I'm kind of surprised that it's not linting the return value. And I should be able to do it. Let's see. At type challenge. So what if I do put this? It should gripe at me, right? Why is it not griping at me? There we go. Now it's griping at me. That's what I expect. Good to know. Alrighty. Alrighty. Now, if you wanted to be really fancy about this, attempts, anything that's a number that increments, you can't store in a single table, you have to create another table and then log attempts in that table, because as soon as this scales out to multiple computers, you can't serialize the attempts anymore, and you could actually have something make parallel requests, and then the attempts is going to override. Now, some databases do have an increment, essentially an increment command as part of a query, so you can do an update and tell it to increment as part of the update, or do a subselect or something like that. But this will do for now and for many situations. But essentially, attempts should be able to survive one order of magnitude difference, because if they just fire off the attempt to, say, 10 different IP addresses or 100 different IP addresses, hopefully it fails. Because I do have this little bit of fail-safe in here with this. It's a serialization process, so it will sleep. But again, it only is going to work for, in the case of one server, if a person's trying to attack, it's this still vulnerable to an attack of horizontal scale. The alarm, dinner time, dropping off. Enjoy the conf tomorrow. Catch you on the next one. Adios. Indeed. You have a great dinner. What are you having for dinner? Is it roast beast? I don't know if I really like it this way. Ah, what the heck happened? Well, that's too bad. Rec.body.type or email. I think that's what this was. And then value. So rec.body.value or rec.body.email. Identifier. So type string and value string. Let's see, what if I'd said number? Would it complain at me then? Indeed it would. Good. Okay. Okay, so here's the question. Do we use gen in any place where we don't immediately use notify? And it looks as though the answer to that is no. So I would say that it would be fair to wrap this, just get rid of gen entirely. And we could call this challenge.send, maybe? It could be challenge.create, but we'll call it challenge.notify to do name, better name. And yeah, so we'll just go over here. And then let's redo this gen function. And then we will have, where's our notify function? So I'm going to bring notify up to the top. Huh. I wonder, whoa, that's not what I wanted to do. There we go. What will be the adverse effects of this? All right. Huh, now all of a sudden the linter decides to kick in and work properly. Alrighty, well, I think this is about as good as it's going to get. I'm going to have exchange down after check and redeem. So there's going to be check, there's going to be redeem, and there's going to be exchange. And then I guess the is fresh probably isn't needed over here anymore, right? Yeah. So we can pretty much knock out the is fresh. All right, me go ahead and add this to the stash. And what is different about session? Oh, I'm calling create router. Yeah, let's add that. Let's add all of this stuff to the stash. Okay, I'm feeling much better about this. Okay, so the receipt value is also something that I generally don't want to be available when it goes out in the res.json. Let me go check over here in the magic link stuff. Whoops. Res.json result. So, okay, it seems good enough. We're not sending back. It doesn't look like we're ever sending that back. Query.code. We don't have any meta in here. Do we have any C in here? No. All right, so that looks good. I don't have any concerns. Probably do want to make sure that in some circumstances, let's see, we got the expires goes back. What's this one in? Order. So ID, receipt, expires. That's all good. Interesting. So maybe we do want to be able to pass that back as a code. Is this the one where it's generated? Yeah, it is where it's generated. Okay, so the problem that I have here then is that I don't actually want that to make it into the database. Okay, okay. I think this is just about ready to test, but I'm going to go to, holy crap, it's 1:46. Yeah, I definitely need to get to bed. Somehow I have to wake up tomorrow, and it's winter time. That's nearly impossible. Not make that mistake. All right, so check status is going to increments failure count on bad code. Increments failure count on bad code. And we also do need a similar error message for redeemed on exchange. Let's see. Yeah, okay, great. Okay, cool. This looks really, really good now. I just need to change the name of this from Magic Link to something else. I like the idea of calling it Challenger because it's the challenge router, essentially. All right, let's see. How many lines of code do we end up with now? Only 200-ish? Okay, so now I could take what I have. Let me see what I could do with this now. Let me go back to the original code that I was hoping to do something with. Oh, you know what though? There's one more thing I want to do here, which is actually, yeah. So ops. So if not ops.challenge, I think that's what I want to do. So this gives us the opportunity for dependency injection. Now, why do I actually need max age, though? I don't think I do. Do I need max age or issuer? Do I need issuer anywhere else? I need it in this bit, but could I not just as well get it from the challenge? I got issuer. So it seems that we could put, maybe we could put max age in here. Do we need, where else do we need max age in there? Max age. Expiry, max age. So how about no? How about I get rid of max age here? Alright, so now we don't have a reliance on max age. And then how about, can we get rid of issuer? Because we can just do c.issuer. Okay, and then this would really be more just for backwards compatibility right here. I think. To do remove after rollout. So we don't need that. Because we already have those things. I'm just going to double check here. But we already have issuer right there. So wherever else we have issuer, we don't have issuer anywhere else. Okay, but I would like to have, okay, yeah, so we do have issuer here. So we're not actually using, I could try this, I suppose. And then do we want to put the max age on there? Oops. I'm willing to do it this way. Max age, max age. And I'll just put it down here for now. All right. So with that, we'd still get access to the max age in a couple of places. All right, so here we get rid of the need for these options. I consider that to be a win. Okay. So now we're really just down to internal stuff. So almost all the options get passed into this challenge thing, and the rest of them could be separated quite easily because they're just trickle downs. Okay, so with that, so let's take this uppercase challenge and turn it into a lowercase challenger. Or maybe challenges. Doesn't matter. What matters is that in lib session, we can now make this separate challenger. And let me go figure out what that thing was again. All of these. Okay, auth in param. Auth in param, is that what we call it? That's what we call it. Okay. So let's not make that auth in param. Let's make it, let's just get rid of that leading underscore because this is a perfectly public value, and we'll do the same thing for the magic link file. Oops. All right, and we'll go back to session, and then where we have by challenge, we will make authn param a first class citizen. And we will let's see, I guess all of these go from being, no, this is all good. Unexpected token what? Let's see. Ops.issuer. Ops.secret. Oh, huh. I should probably just rename that to secret then. We got, where's notify here? Okay, notify, store, max age, max attempts, authn, and then ID encoding, ID count, cooldown milliseconds. And then I guess development's not needed there. Interesting. Okay. Then we don't need any of this. Let's just check and see what we need here. Development, authn, challenger. Authn, okay, and then challenger. If not ops.challenger, then all of this, and then ops.challenger, ops, challenger. Oh, right. Let's see. Okay. Almost need to merge. Except that I'd want to only merge things that are not empty. Okay. Interesting. All right. Okay. Hmm. Let me think. I might want to have a challenge.set secret. Where I can have a secret and set it. Boom. Sorry, being quiet. Just thinking, you know, working through things. All right, so the reason I want that set secret is because I don't know. We'll see. I think really what I want is a soft set for the secret. Object is possibly null. It's actually not. Oh well. It's not possibly null. It is definitely set. That's ridiculous. Object is definitely not possibly null. I just checked if it's null, and I set it. Oh well. So offset secret is null. If not secret. There we go. Okay. And source lib auth. Is it? I think I do want to call this the challenger then. Let me see if I've got challenger anywhere else in here. Nope. Okay. Auth 3000. Let's see, lib challenger challenge.js. I don't know if that's exactly how I want to go about it. Challenger.create. Challenge. So I don't think there's anything other than the developer bit that would change here. Source index. All right, so I'd need to have, what else that isn't already covered? Auth param. This may call for restructuring the notify function. Because what I might want to do here is pass in auth param as well. Let me see if it could be useful. And I guess just these two situations, this one in particular. Notify. So really, that whole auth in bit could just be passed in right there. And then this doesn't need the auth in param. Although that calls into question why the auth in param is needed at all. Maybe the answer is it isn't. I don't know. We'll see. But the main thing is I'm going to have to get the issuer and the secret down into this level as well. So issuer. And then where's the private key? Priv key. So essentially we'd need some sort of .init, and we need to pass in issuer and priv key, like so, or maybe just issuer and key. Okay. Source lib auth. So are there other places that use this? No, not really. Okay, I guess that's fine. Oops. I wonder if there's another way that we could set the secret and the issuer on this thing. Because it seems when we call notify is when we need, you know, it's just got to get past one way or the other. Issuer and key. is there anything else that would need to be initialized here? There's the whole login system. Whole exchange system. Oh, bother. All right. What else do I need to do to turn this around? Yeah, I think maybe this... We don't have to set challenged anything. Well, I don't know. To do. How to pass challenger to 3000.challenge. Because I shouldn't... So the reason that I want to make this ahead of time or extract it. So I want to get access to this challenger object somehow. I'm just going to sleep on it. Things are separated well enough. This was a good refactor. Check out B. Whoops. Whip. Oh, there we go. All right, well, there we go. So I've pushed the whip, and I'll figure this out when I figure it out. The big question that I've got, like, all the functions are pulled out, but what we've got is kind of this dependency problem on the secret and the issuer, which are kind of globalish or package scope values for auth3000 when you create an instance of auth3000. But I want to be able to create an instance of the challenger or get an instance of the challenger so that I can use it in other places, so that it's not so that I don't have to go through the login process to use the same authentication logic for the invites, the invite codes. So Yeah, I'm just going to have to sleep on it. See what I think tomorrow. Okay, well, for those of you that tuned in, thanks for tuning in. For those of you that didn't, please raise your hand. And if you liked it, give it a like. If you didn't, thumbs down, because every thumb helps. But if you like what you like, you get more of what you like. And hit the subscribe button if you want to follow along with other, hopefully, more exciting sessions, which we do have sometimes. The last couple have been a little bit, of a slog. Normally it's 50-50. We got one exciting one sloggy one. But, the last payments one was pretty good, I think. But this one has been a little bit of a slog today. So, but that's work. Anyway, click all the things. Check the doobly-doo for related and unrelated links. And I'll catch you later. Adios.